Let
me get that, so it's not all faded out. Oh, there we go.
All right, whoops,
Oops, I have to push the page a
there
little
we
more.
go. And part of it is me too. Okay, cool. Look at that, Raj. Okay, today is what is today in December of 2023? It's like Thursday right after Christmas.
And it's 4:07 p.m.
Okay, so December 28th. All right, so here's Roger Colty.
Yeah, this is me looking at one eye's all red for some odd reason. I think I was working too hard. Got bloodshot eye on one eye. But hey, what happens when you're making charts like this? I think I blew my eye out doing this. But
So
what's it?
yeah, can you explain these charts? And while you're talking, I'll try and zoom in
Okay.
and bring in a clear shot of what you're talking
Okay,
about.
what I'll do is you can follow my finger first. If
Okay,
you're down my finger here, see it says 30 on the bottom.
great. Let me move this.
Okay,
There we go.
I can move it over a little
Got
bit more like
Okay,
this. There you go.
perfect.
There's 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. 46 is way at the very top of the page. Then I put that up, that's way up here. All of these I just showed you. These right here are all latitudes. 35th latitude is the main trade major hub for all trade globally, all over the world. 35 degrees for our, this side of for our area from 29 to 39. From what I showed you at 45 up here, where it says 122, 121, 120, 119 going this way, these are all longitude markers going all the way to 99. So if you look, it's all in order, all the longitudes going from there from 123, which is the Vancouver Island, and 122 and 121, 120, see the number order starting to go that way. And it goes all the way up to Tillamook, Oregon, which is at 45 degrees. And if you do 325 times 14, it's 45.50, which is right there. This chart is set up so that you can don't have to dig up people's bones. You don't have to disturb the dead. You don't even have to get a shovel or a pick or anything for that matter. This thing is so set up that, like, say, something that people are familiar with, like say, oh, Bob, like we're in Sandia. Okay, let's start out with Sandia. How do you do this? I said 35th, right? And the latitude for our area is 35 and our longitude is 106. So how do you find these locations? You go down 35th and you follow it all the way to 106. And when 35 and 106 intersect, it says Sandia Mountain. Now, if you look at all these lines going diagonally, those are also latitude and longitude lines, but they're going in a diagonal situation. Then you'll start noticing how this is all set up. Sandia Mountain will go from here, it goes to Chaco. From Chaco, it goes to Mesa Verde, to Hovenweep, and then from there it goes all the way up to Mount Baldy. And it goes all the way up to this marker that goes to Mount Saskatchewan, which is up at 52 degrees up here. This is a whole nother story up there. But if you take what we did with Sandia down here, it also has markers that take you down here into Texas, which are the rivers that take you to the Mississippi, the Gulf of Mexico, and even down to the mouth of the Rio Grande. And then if you take Sandia again and go this way, you go to Ute Lake and toward Amarillo. This is another area where rivers like the Red River and all of that, they go to the Mississippi. And all of these connections, they're all tied together. 35th, Amarillo, Ute Lake, Santa Rosa, Pecos, Sandia Mountain, Mount Taylor, Zuni, Wide Rune, Hopi or Agate House, Humphreys Peak, Wapati, I guess that's how you would say that, Seligman, Arizona, Peach Springs, Spirit Peak, Caliente Mountain, 29 Palms, takes you right to the ocean, Morro Bay. This is a chart to describe how we utilized our trade with the Chinook trade network and how we traded with all the tribes below us. Because 3.212 3.25 times 12 equals 39, which is the geographic locations on the globe. But once you go 3.25 times 12.5, you start going into 40.625, which Mendocino, Cape Mendocino is located at. And when you hit those numbers, all the geographic globe locations are all going to Northwest Coast locations, all the way up from 40 degrees to 65 degrees, all the way up into Alaska. From up there, we got things all the way into Hawaii, all the way to Australia, all the way to Fiji, all the way to Nan Madol. I mean, we got and then from that, we took our trade over to Sage Mountain, where I guess you would call the Sleeping Giant Mountain in Montana. There's a place called Two Ocean Pass. To the west, it takes you to the Columbia River and the Snake River. And then to the east, it takes you down to Missouri to the Great Lakes, to Cahokia, to Mississippi, and down into the Gulf of Mexico, and off to the East Coast to the Atlantic.
So you're talking about an indigenous global trade network, and that was based off of the 3.25. Can you explain 3.25?
3.25 is the real number for pi, not the 3 point I just don't know nonsense that's going around, because with my pi, you can find geographic global locations by using it. 3.25 times 8.5 equals 27.625 south. That's the latitude for Easter Island. I could find little places right in the middle of nowhere.
So could you explain how you get to that, like with the Zia symbol? Because people don't understand the global mapping system is based off of
No, it's based off of the Mesoamerican 13 and 26, and then it's based off our use of the 8 and 16 for our area, or the combination of the two, which is really interesting because I think it's 26 divided, what was my formula again?
by 13.
You're making me think.
Oh, sorry.
I remember what it was now. It's it was 26, which is the Mesoamerican, and then it's divided by our 16, if I remember right. And if do that right, it comes down to 3.25. And you take 3.25 and divide it in half, it's 1.625. 1.625 is the real number for the golden mean ratio. And 3.25 is the real number for pi.
For the indigenous pi.
No, real pi. It's the real pi. The pseudo pi is 3 point. I just don't know. I mean, if they could actually find a globe location with their pi, I might believe them, and that's a big might.
So you're saying that this one here proves its legitimacy because in using it, you have been able to map out all these places on this geographical mapping system right here.
Look, 3.25 times 9, 29.25 north. What is that? That's the latitude for the Giza pyramids in Egypt. Can they do that with their pi?
So when you put that on this map, because this is just one page and it's a small section, right? This is just a Chinook trade network in the Americas.
Europe and into Asia, and then even on the southern latitude to South America, Africa, Australia, and New Zealand. And it does the same thing.
And so with this number, like you just identified on this mapping system where Easter Island is and where the pyramids of Giza were, and you could just find that easily by using the 3.25 number.
Yeah, I didn't even look at this to find it, did I?
No.
It's a little off the page this way. might be way over here.
So this whole book, can you talk about your book? Because you've been doing a lot of work and this is only
I'm gonna give you a short tour.
piece.
From from the projects I've been doing that you're not even aware of.
This is a tiny piece of what you've been working on.
Pacific Ocean, the Galapagos Islands. This tells you how to go from the Galapagos Islands, 090, which is up this way, 090, and how every longitude, every latitude, going all the way down to the Atacama Giant, which is the guy that's down in the middle of the desert down there in Chile, I guess, if I remember right. And then it takes you all through every longitude and every latitude to Maldonado, Uruguay, which takes you to the Plata River of the South Atlantic. Or in other words, this connects Lima, Peru to Buenos Aires. Lima, Peru, Buenos Aires. They were ancient trade ports apparently before the Hispanics arrived. That's just from the Galapagos Islands. This one over here,
And this,
Aikido, how to go from Alaska to Aikido in north of Japan. And it gives you the whole directions how to get there. And the Ode Hall, that rune that the Vikings used, it's to mark this island called Sakhalin Island, which is right above North Aikido, which was used to get to America. And here's another one over here. Hey, this is a good way that people could understand, like, maybe he's onto something. Teotihuacan, Mexico. This one's a good one. This one I'm still working on, because this one is, I have to be a little careful with, because this one has going from Monte Alban and all the way up from Teotihuacan through the oceans and into South America, Ecuador, and down into Peru, Bolivia, and Lake Titicaca, and this way goes to the Azores Islands.
where's Lake Titicaca?
That's in Peru, Bolivian border, if I remember right.
Oh, okay.
And it's right there, Puma Punca and Tiwanaku, one of those ancient cities like that.
Can you point it out here on the map?
On here,
Oh, is it on this one? Or have you gone off the map?
it doesn't exactly go there.
Oh.
It goes near there to a place called Corio, Bolivia.
Oh.
But remember, I'm still working on this because see if there's arrows going this way or arrows going that way. And I'm still working out this. See, Lake Titicaca is written right there.
Oh, yeah.
This is where it is, right there, if you want to know where it is.
Oh, man.
It's right there, right in the dead center of this thing. But I have to be real careful with this one because this marks what those crazy Spaniards and white guys call El Dorado, you know. And I've been doing and I'm finding about 4, 5, 6, 7 El Dorados. You know how to get about gold. You don't care about knowledge or any of this. It's all about money. And it's never been about, for research and true science. Give them a little gold, they go gaga. So, I have to be a little careful with what I'm doing here. This is that trade network, this smaller, the one the Chinook Empire is made out of. This one right here is Devil's Tower. Right there, 46103. That's how far the network went down there. And it goes to the Mississippi Easter Island, So, but that's kind of the trade network. But here's another one that might freak people out.
So all of this is basically based on the sacred calendar system.
What do you think I'm using?
Right.
I'm
Okay.
using everything I utilized that I did on those programs that I did with Carl. How to make squares and how to use the 16 dots to make longitudes and latitudes. I learned this from the ancients. I didn't learn this from the white man. I didn't learn this from no damn books. I learned this from just looking at the symbols and that our ancestors left behind. I mean, look at this one. Orkney Island. Where's that? Scotland. Where does it go to? Caracas, Pachari, Peru. This is another one I had to be careful because all these lines go right through Colombia and all that. And there's El Dorados all the way through this route too. So I can't release this to the public because then everybody go gog over the gold. Let's get something where they're not too gog over the gold. Maybe I'll find something that's a little tourist friendly. I've been at this for a while. Ooh, this was the one that's weird. Oh yeah. You know that Mount Wilson thing? It's not Mount Wilson that's having the activity. It's this place, Mount Current in the middle. There's an activity going on between Becky's Peak, Belted Mountain over here, Payrock Petroglyphs over here, Bates Mountain over here with the Summit Peak, and Rawhide Peak over here, and Mount Wilson on that side. They're gateways that seem to go that center here. And Mount Wilson just happens to be in the path going into that. All of these have these. Look at that. See? Look, Skinwalker Ranch over here, Thomas Miller Ranch over here. They're all connected. Bradshaw Ranch. They're all connected. I'm still working on it yet. And they're all based out of Montezuma's well. I don't understand it yet. And Mount Graham and Mount this well has to do with Bobby Keevery and the mountains way up in Montana and the Dugaway up here. There's some weird thing about this one. Dugaway testing range, Mount Wilson, Area 51, China Lake, Edwards Air Force Base, all in the same line. Why? That one I'm still trying to do research on yet. But back to my tour, that wasn't too tourist friendly, was it? I was just asking. I meant to say that's to scare the tourists. Anyway, let's get one that's a little more, one that'll really knock your socks out. Cape Mendocino. You go to Point Delgado at 40 degrees and 124 degrees longitude, and this is right here in California, and you follow that, and you follow all these latitudes and longitudes and blah, blah, blah. Where does it take you? San Madol, Micronesia. And all the numbers I'm doing from the ancient knowledge that has been given me, they come out to the exact numbers of the right latitudes and longitudes. I mean, that's not a coincidence. How many have I showed you already? And they're all the right numbers.
Oh, that was a lot.
Yeah, tell me. And that's not, I'm not even, I'm going to show you another one that's a little less. Let's do one that's for the other side, because I've been covering my side of the world. This is the one let's get one for the white guys. We'll do one for the white man. Just to be equal. We scared our people, now it's time to scare you guys. We scared our own people, now it's time to scare you. Wow, I scared myself, really. Okay, let me find my little chart here, because this is my little special one. That's another one I couldn't release because I really wanted to, but I couldn't, because you want to know the real reason why I couldn't release it?
Why?
That stupid series Oak Island or Treasure of Oak Island. If it wasn't for that, I would have released this with the book, but because, of the Oak Island nonsense and all that, it kind of made me leery because, well, how they get about gold again, and then you get all gaga about the gold. Okay, but here we go. It's a little bit. Okay, let's see if I can find the one that's from Greenland. Oh, here we go. Port Christian Sound, Greenland, 60 degrees, 43. Where does it go? It takes you to Indian Bay and the Terra Nova National Park, 4855. There's a place called Jubilee Lake between St. Pierre Island and Grand Bank Beach. It takes you to Newfoundland, or where Nova Scotia and that area is at near Canada. So this is the route from Greenland that was used to get from that location to Newfoundland. Now you go to Greenland, you go over it, and there's another location that tells you how to get to Iceland, which is another short route, which is, I think I have it on here, but here's Iceland. From Iceland is at 6419, and you follow this all the way down. That's where it gets interesting. It takes you to Ireland. It takes you to a place called Kilcoman. Takes you to Waterford, Kilmore, Wye, Kennever Edge, England. Also takes you to the Bristol Channel or the Bristol Bay area, and then close to Plymouth, England. And I think it's Land's End, if I remember right, it's in this area. And if you keep going, it also takes you to, Plymouth itself, to France, between Lorient and Ludec, Borear. I can't even say these fancy French words. This is for you, Templars. You guys, Templars are full of crap. My Chinook trade map gives you the exact location how to get to La Rochelle, the Bay of Biscay in France, which is the capital of the Templars. I mean, do they have what I have? Do they know how to get from La Rochelle to here? No, I do. So this is for the white man. If you follow this all the way down, it takes you to everything else. It goes also into to Barcelona, Spain, and Sardinia Islands, and it also takes you to Tripoli, Libya. But what I found out that Tripoli, Libya wasn't at that time called Tripoli, Libya, and it wasn't Muslims or Moors that were there. It was an all black empire that was apparently there before modern Tripoli was even formed. There weren't even white people there, in other words, or Greeks or Italians or any of that. It was an all African empire, an ancient African empire. So I got all of these little charts. I mean, my whole book is full of them. Look at that. It tells you how to get all these locations. New Guinea, Hawaii, how to get to New Guinea from Hawaii to New Guinea, how to get from Vancouver to Hawaii. I mean, this is an archaeologist's wet dream book here. You know, if an archaeologist saw this, they might even faint because they don't even think natives understand latitudes or longitudes, let alone to understand any of what I'm showing right here.
Global mapping.
Even my own native people, you know, we fell for the social programming that, you know, we couldn't invent the wheel and that we, you know, were bare knuckled, you know, savages, you know, we fell for it. You know, it's our own fault too. We listen to them, believe them. And why am I saying it's our own fault? We should be believing in our own and quit listening to foreigners.
All right, so that was a documentation of a global mapping system that Roger Colty of the Quinault Nation, also more specifically the Clatsop Nehilim and Chinook.
Oh, and the correction, it's the non-tourist friendly version. I was trying to make it tourist friendly, but I think it's time to just take off the gloves and quit pretending that who we aren't. Isn't it time that we just be who we really are and be proud of who we are? Quit listening to people that don't even know their own culture and allowing them to define us and our culture. Just something about that just doesn't sound right. Somebody that doesn't know their own culture, teaching us our culture. What's the matter with us? I thought we had brains in our head.
Well, it's like that painting, the blind leading the blind.
Oh, pain and blinding to the blind. It's just a bunch of Indians that are on a bus and we're all looking too busy looking back and it's ready to go off a cliff and we're too busy looking back instead of looking forward to say, hey, there's a cliff ahead. Maybe we should turn. It's our fault too. We fell for it. We got a brain in our head, people. Come on. This is really simple. All I'm trying to do is prove to the natives, you know, and when I say white, I don't mean race. I'm talking about colonial mindset, the laws. I'm talking about the papal bull. I'm talking about maritime law, everything that screwed us here in the modern age that shouldn't even be here. Laws that should have been outlawed 200 years ago that are still on the books.
Well, there's all kinds of things.
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do. And the sad part about it is that, you know, we pretending that we're primitive savages and we let the white man lead us by the hand. And where they're leading us down to, who knows, you know. Right now, they're turning the Holy Land into Holy Land, all right. A lot of bullets, a lot of bombs, and, you know, a lot of missiles. It's the Holy Land, all right. You want to follow those people? Go ahead. The Hopis drew a line that goes into a squiggly line into nowhere. Those people where they go. Go ahead, follow them. I encourage you to follow them. Go with them. You know, if you really want this to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, let's take all you Christians, Muslims, and Jews and Indians that believe in this nonsense. Let's put a big wall around the Valley of Armageddon, take you in there, give you each a gun and a knife, and say, okay, get it over with. And we'll place bets who's going to be the winner, and we'll put it in Vegas and put it in our India casinos, and we'll make money. You want to fulfill an Armageddon thing? Well, let's profit from it and quit hurting other people. Kill yourselves if you want to. Leave us out of it. We have our own way, our own science. We have our own way of viewing the universe, own way of viewing the cosmos, our own way of seeing things. And I'm going to tell you the ultimate thing that Indians, natives need to hear, and none of natives hear. My last thing I'm going to say. This is about petroglyphs and what spirit and ancestor told me what they're for. To you, what do petroglyphs represent?
Um, it's like a history. I think.
Tribes, clans. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah.
Okay, now what I just showed you about longitudes and latitudes with this mapping system I just showed you. Spirit and ancestor said, you do have title to the land. They're called petroglyphs, and every clan and every tribe was assigned parts of this property to be a part of my Chinook trade empire. And when they were assigned this, they were allowed the right to live and to trade and to do whatever they wanted to do there as a people. And their clans were there to make sure it was them that we traded with. In other words, petroglyphs are our title to the land. And that's why they're trying to destroy them. That's why they're putting them no trespassing signs on them. That's why they're getting mining companies to bury them. And that's why they're dynamiting them to this day, because they know what I just said, what we don't know, what I'm just now letting you know. Those are our titles to the land. Every tribe, every clan, every petroglyph is associated as a title to the land. Aboriginal title. The end.
So the re-indigenizing minds can be found on YouTube. Roger, you put a channel together?
Yeah.
You want to give our viewers a tour of this?
Well, it's not exactly a tour. The top part right here explains who we are, what we're doing, and a decipherment that was done. So it's kind of a mission statement, kind of what we're about. These ones on the bottom, mainly everything I was talking about, all of these videos that are on here are associated with what I was just talking about. Controlling the narrative and disinformation programs. That's another thing that needs to be brought up. Modern media is being used to cover up human rights abuses. I've been realizing that about, I'd say about 60% maybe turns out to be a little bit paranormal. But there's a 40% that nobody wants to talk about or nobody wants to even discuss. And I found out the other 40% was that modern media, including the internet, is being used to cover up human rights abuses and to all of the things that they had done to people that they don't want to know about. So modern media is used as a look comment, so the public will look in another direction and not see what this hand is doing over in this end. Because I'll give you an example. I was doing research on the Headless Valley up in the Fraser River up in Canada. Like everybody else, oh, skinwalkers. Oh, it's a direwolf. Oh, it's these shape-shifting monsters that are killing these people and tearing their heads off, or maybe Bigfoot chopping their head off and throwing them in the river. And I fell for it. And I followed it. But being that I'm from the Northwest Coast and the Fraser River is at the other end of my trade network, in other words, my people, I checked the native side of the story. Same place, same Fraser River, same location, but from a native source. What was their source? Told me, well, after the California gold rush of the 1800s, after they killed all the Indians down there, which they called diggers, by the way, the gold miners heard that there was gold in the Fraser River. So all the gold miners of America that were in California that killed all the Indians, they all went to Canada. And they went to Canada, they started abusing the indigenous people just like they did the Indians in California. They didn't honor England or British Columbian law. And what happened? They started to murder, rape, and pillage all the local First Nations there. And they kept doing it to a point where there was final straw that broke the camel's back. They raped a young girl, which was the final thing that these people could take anymore. So the First Nations people said that nobody's going to do nothing about it. Britain's not going to do nothing about it. America's not going to do nothing about it. The church ain't going to do nothing about it. So let's just send them a message. Chop off a few heads, throw them in the river, let it flow down to the river to the prospectors' camp to give them a clear message to cut that out. That's the other side of the story. So what is media really being used for? What is Skinwalker Ranch really being used for? Is it a psyops ranch for, global, what would you call misinformation? When church and state are doing something, And then you could be, but they want you to look at skinwalkers and aliens, but not at them. See, and digging into this deeper, I found out things I didn't really want to find out. Well, what media is really being utilized and used for, especially when it came down to covering up their human rights abuses and the massacres and genocides and all of that. Because most of the things I was realizing that, like I said, I did a lot of research and I found out that there was some legitimate paranormal activity. But I'm going to be honest with you, paranormal activity was about 30%. You know what the other 70% was?
What was it?
Oh, this is going to be hard to say. It was the monstrous, atrocious, evil, wicked things that all people did to each other, and their ghosts are still lingering and their spirits are still there. No matter if you were Mormon, no matter if you were Navajo, Ute, Shoshone, or just a person passing through that got picked up and they just killed you anyway. There's all these souls that are there. That's not the paranormal activity of skinwalkers or aliens. It has to do with human abuse.
So you're saying that 70% of the paranormal activity that occurs up there
Our huntings,
are hauntings?
because of all the evil things that happened there. I don't know what happened. And I'm not saying it's just white people. Natives did it too.
Right, because native children were stolen and sold to Mormons.
No, natives went up there with the Mormons and sided with them and sold the children to them.
Oh, yep.
Did you know that Chief Walker in the end, you know how all this talk about, did you know they sent an agent over to China to find an exotic poison to poison that tribe there? And in the end, Brigham Young had poisoned Chief Walker himself. Nobody knows that either. I dug deep and I started realizing, oh my God, this is more like the Mormon Mafia than anything. And they went, there's the Meadows Massacre where they killed a bunch of Native people. The Mormons don't want to talk about that either. That's the internet, cover up. Look at skinwalkers, look at aliens. Don't look at what we did. And I'm not sort of saying whites either. Look what we did too. We sold our own people to them too. We're just as guilty as they are. We don't want to talk about it either because of that. Me, I'm Native, but I'm rather find out the real truth than, I don't know about everybody else, but I don't like getting lied to, basically.
Yeah.
And if I find out this truth like this, I can't keep it to myself. And I just use Fraser Canyon as an example. There's plenty of other examples of this going on out there. That was just one.
So that was basically some of this information that you
Yeah.
have right here.
Both the narrative and disinformation programs.
Okay, and then there's a few more. It looks
Intentional
like.
destruction of indigenous sites. That whole thing is all about how they're destroying it systematically and how they're going about doing it. And then petroglyphs are indigenous titles to the land. I was just talking about that. This right there, I'm putting petroglyphs, they're associated with it.
Mhm.
What I was just talking about is kind of pretty much, in categories on here, basically.
Right.
Oh, then the people, if you're really burned out and you say, this stuff is getting too much. Well, I got another channel over here that you might like. You push this over here.
Is
Oops.
this the one that has the sacred geometry applications by John Longbow?
Yep.
Can you talk about that?
Okay, I'll let this play just a little bit and I'll get to
Okay.
it. See, when you get tired, there's another section here that's called indigenous music videos. And all they are is, if you're tired of the crap that's on the radio, I know I am, and this major corporate, rock sucks really bad now. These are all indigenous videos of every indigenous musician you could imagine around the world. And I put a collection together of every band from chicken scratch to metal to rock to traditional to cumbias. If you could, it's not all homework and and it's all based on indigenous, like you can see, indigenous theme. And it's heavy. So if you're not ready for it, it might knock your socks off.
Is that Mayan band?
No, this is a band that's from New Zealand.
Oh,
Maury.
that's really cool.
They're heavier than Metallica. Who needs Metallica when you got these guys? No, no. Metallica's a great cover band now, but but you want to get down to some serious heavy music, you got to listen to what the indigenous people are doing here. You know, we don't get the publicity. We don't get Grammys or none of that nonsense. We don't need it. Why? We got the music, and you don't. I can relate to that. My people are headhunters in Canada, so we'll find out my house. I better get off there. I'll get your longboat and bring them back now. It makes me want to collect heads. I got to turn that off. It makes me want to collect heads. That was one of our hobbies, collecting heads and cannibalizing people. Let's see here.
Was that the Clatsop Nihilin or was that the Chinook?
Who cannibalized?
Yeah.
No, it was my mom and dad's side of the family.
Oh.
I don't know, the Clatsops, my ancestor, we got in trouble in 1800s because one of my ancestors was known as the Hoquat killer. And he was a famous warrior and made all the tourists nervous because Hoquat in our language means white man. And he killed so many white men that he ran out of notches on his stick.
Oh my goodness.
That's my ancestor from the Clatsop side. They were nice people. I come down here and Ames trying to get rid of me, and they can't figure out why they can't. They're not tough enough. Well, they think they are. I don't know. AIM stands for American Needed Movie Stars now. Gary Farmer. Okay, let's see. Where's Longbrow? Let's see. Oh, did I not make him this public? Isn't this
So you're looking for John Longbow.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go to my playlist. I don't think I think it's still on private. Good thing you told me that because everything is public. But if you don't put public on here,
can you talk about what John Longbow's work is about and how he's related to the Indigenous Research Center?
okay, I will explain.
Well, we call ourselves IRC, but he's
No, we don't want to confuse them. Let's talk about longbow. What I taught longbow the deciphering technique years and years ago, not thinking too much about it because I thought, most people, even natives I talked to, goes one ear, not the other. They don't give a crap about ancient things, But longbow surprised me. He came back. Not only did he understand what I was talking about when I was bilateral symmetry and our totem pole art and creating images with, two images going against each other. He went out of his way and created videos on it. This is one of them right here. And he learned how to use 3D programming on a computer to make it holographic and brought all the images out of the ancient art and the decipherment. There's so many images that are within our ancient art that it's not even funny. I mean, one piece of ancient art is probably contain over 1,000 images, but this is showing how many images are within one piece. We're so stupid. We're so flat and linear. We don't understand any of how the ancients thought. They thought holographically. They thought multidimensionally. They didn't think of this linear nonsense. You weren't straight line people. I give Longbow credit. I don't know how he figured out that 3D program, but he did, and it rounded everything out. Like looking in a crystal ball without using a crystal ball. That could be a valuable tool for all ancient art worldwide. Look at that face. Look at that face. And a crown on it. I would say one of the leaders.
You're unbelievable.
By the way, the second book we're planning to do is going to be on the 260-day sacred calendar. The third book I'm planning to do is a book, a copy book. You can put on the tabletop That's gonna be all about deciphered art, book number 3. So we got 2 more projects ahead of us. This will be number 3. Then we'll put a DVD in it and throw all of these on a DVD and have this in the collection too.
This kind of looks like the jade mask of Palenque.
This is from the Aztec turquoise from the side.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. Longo did a whole bunch of them. I mean, this is just a. Let's see if I can find another.
And we started doing this with the 2004 ancient sky video for the planetarium.
That's true. Oh, the good one. So with Longbow and the technique that I taught him, he ran with us. You know, and this guy, like, he's gone beyond me. Which I'm proud of. I mean, people, you can be telling, no, I'm glad it inspired somebody to go beyond what I did. That's the only way we're gonna bring this back. It was hard being the only person that knew all of this for the longest time, sitting around all by myself. I was all the major knowledge, but no one to listen to me. No one to listen to me. I know what to know ancient art. No one will believe me. I know how to read the 26 sacred calendar. Nobody believes. I know how to map the globe. Nobody believes me. Why? Oh, you're just the Indian. You're not an Indian expert. Those days are over. Now we need expert Indians. So everybody get educated out there. Follow your heart, follow your soul, quit listening to the foreigners. Start doing research and doing your own homework into your own culture, your own tribe, like I've done. There's a lot to still be discovered yet. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Every tribe has it, it's not just mine.
So this is basically the application of bilateral symmetry through mirroring and reverse imaging techniques.
Yeah, and it's using that same thing of 1.625 and 3.25 as the template to create these. See how it's all connected? Also, the 365 thing is also connected to the Aztec calendar stones. If you flip it up and put it upside down, up on the roof, and you put it next to the view symbol, the layout, the mathematical numbers does the same. I got it over there in the corner. I don't know if we can make it that far, but the Aztec calendar up there next to the view.
Yeah, there's no light over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can't. It's over there.
Only my cat's over there. I sit there when I meditate and face the north. That's what I do. This is my, we're facing east. There's the template for the whole area. It's right above me, and that's where I do my template. And if you notice, all those lines that are aligned, if you notice, they go to locations from this place. I can tell you where all of these places are. I could tell you where Ackerman's at. There's a line of points where it's over here. I could tell you where Taco's at. Maybe the stadium over there. Just by putting in those lines up there. They point to those locations. Just got to get underneath it.
And that's just because you already mapped it out. You
Yeah.
did the global mapping on paper. So from this location, you can align to that, and then you can say, okay, this is the direction to go to get to Mesa Verde or wherever.
That's every line from that middle line that goes to the next line above it. Those alignments above it. They're exactly aligned. That if you follow that to where that location is, it takes you to the next latitude and longitude. Every one of those, tick, tick, tick. One that goes to that longitude goes to 36. This one goes to 37. This one goes to 38. This one goes to 39. Same thing on this side. 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40 at the very top.
Wow.
Oh, hey.
Oh, so you were talking about the Mayan calendar, and maybe you could talk a little bit about the correlation that you've done between the Mayan Factun and the Aztec year count calendar.
Basically, the Maya and the Aztec in reality are pretty much on a base similar lay it, I guess you could say. It's because they're all based on 260. Hold on. Hold on, Longbow, you don't want to stop. Got him going, now you don't want to stop.
So maybe you can talk a little bit about that?
Well, see, the problem that was going on was that everybody was listening to Spanish chroniclers, and what they weren't doing was listening to what their stories were telling them, and even the stories here they're not listening to. And it's basically has to do with your Danae story of the feather that's straight up, or in other words, Pleiades. The Pleiades being directly overhead at midnight had everything to do with how everything was connected. And why is it that way? The Pleiades is an annular star. It shows up at the exact same location every year, exactly at the same place. Instead of listening to Spanish chroniclers and white men, we should have been following the stars. We should have been following the constellations. We've been following what the elders and our stories were telling us. Because if you line that up and you find that you look at it that way, that means the Pleiades is for up. Oh, Pistis or the serpent bearer is for the underworld, is for down. And then you have north, which is that way, south that way. And then you got east this way, and then west that way. And what's the last direction between all of them?
What?
You. Up, down, north, south, east, west, you. And how you find yourself in the cosmos and you were placed in the universe. Most people don't even know where they are in the universe. They don't even bother to figure out where's the sun, where's the moon, where am I? Some people don't look past their shoelaces. They like to say they're intelligent.
Don't step on my Jordans.
You go to UNM, there's a lot of armchair activists, archaeologists over there. They just sit in armchairs and they talk about it and guess at the best, you know. Armchair archaeology just don't count. Culture does, stories do. If you really will listen to stories, they're all really based on cosmology, including the white man. How do I know that? Okay. What the story? How many apostles were there?
There were 12.
How many zodiacs are there?
12? Well, I guess there's 13.
Well, no, the
yeah.
30, but modern is
Yeah.
12. Okay, that's what we use. Okay. Now look at Jesus as being the sun. And what is he doing? The sun is going through those 12 zodiacs. And as he's going around, it marks a point where the Pleiades is directly overhead. And what marks that Pleiades? Like an arrow? Orion's belt. And what is Orion's belt? 3 wise men. 3 stars.
Hmm.
The whole story is about a year and the seasons that go along with it. And Jesus is the sun going through the 12 zodiacs. And the 3 wise men are Orion's belt. It's all have to do with astronomy.
Hmm.
The Star of David, they wear it around their neck like a coat, you know? They don't understand that's where Jesus, or this person, I think it's Emmanuel, really. Jesus never existed. Emmanuel was initiated at 19.50 along the Nile at a temple with a religious sect that was that lived in that temple and were teaching people in that temple. Those missing years, he was at 19.50 along the Nile. What is 19.50?
Isn't that where the Pyramid of Giza is?
No.
Oh.
It's called a tetrahedron.
Oh.
What is a tetrahedron? A Star of David. See how much it's gotten lost? I'm piecing it all together, but it's a headache. And I'm getting people yelling at me, screaming at me because all of the religious dogmas, come up, and I'm going, God, you people are so lost. You don't understand. This is about the cosmos and everything that works within it. And I just get headaches when people, Muhammad's going to get you, my God's bigger than your God. That nonsense is going on. And this has nothing to do with that. This has to do with the order of the cosmos and how people understand how it works. It doesn't matter if you're a Christian or not Christian. We all have those stories. I just used the Christian as an example. They have a Danae story. They have a Quinault story. They have a Clatsop story. They have a Maya story. You could go on down around the world. We all have those same stories, yet we think we're different.
Well, it was very important to know the year in order to be able to grow and plant and harvest and
Well, the big
um,
thing about the year
hunting.
count, which was really important, well, as a Chinook,
Yeah.
we set it up so that we would teach people how to use astronomy and all of that for one reason, so that they would be prepared when we'd come to trade with them during the winter solstice. But if they didn't know when the winter solstice was going to occur or where it was going to occur, they would have no idea. So the winter solstice was our alignment marker as when we did trade globally, because why did we go during the winter solstice? We traded globally because there were less hurricanes in the Atlantic. There were less cyclones in the Pacific during winter seasons. So we traded globally because we didn't want to die during winter solstice. So we set it up so everybody would have a way to know when the winter, spring, and equinox is going to be. And when the winter solstice came, everybody knew we were coming to town to trade. And everybody had a solstice marker, and we went down that line. Oh, another big mystery to solve, you know. The main problem is that we have a problem as Native people. We fell for the colonial nonsense that we're savages and we're primitive. That's our mistake. We can't blame the white man for us believing him. We only got one person we could blame for that, and that's us. Well, you know, if somebody bullshits you, you don't have to believe it, you know. On the street, you'll be called a mark. You know, I can sell you beers that's in London, that's in Arizona right now if you really want to go there. You know? But you know, people think they're intelligent.
Hmm.
People think they're civilized. Well, they're shooting each other in the ass. Okay. You want to really be civilized? Put the gun and all of those flamethrowers and tanks and put them away. Pick up a shovel and a hoe and start rebuilding your community and plant a garden. That's how you do it. And you want to be lazy ass? You make easy money being in the military and pick up a gun and shoot each other because you don't want to go to work. Oh, come on. You want to destroy a community or do you want to rebuild it? Let's get real. Who's really civilized down here? Who's the real animal down here? I don't think the animals are. I think we are. I think,
Well, you know, the military industrial complex has a really powerful grip on this
I'm not even
country.
talking about military. I'm
Just
talking
on the
about bullshit
world.
militias too.
Yeah.
Bullshit militias that are black, and no matter what race, they're just too lazy to go out there and rebuild their community. They'd rather shoot each other because it's easier to get a gun and a bullet from the government that wants you to kill each other. I mean, hey, and what's a better way to get rid of the problem than give them guns and bullets? And they'll solve the problem for you.
Hmm.
And we fall for it every time. That shows we're not very intelligent either as natives. You know, my God.
Oh, can you talk a little bit about the year count calendar? I don't know if you wanted to go into planetary calculations or if you just wanted to like talk about prophecies and predictions.
Well, that's going to be a whole nother 2-hour discussion, but I'll tell you
Okay.
about predictions.
Okay.
Well, I can tell you right now.
Is this tourist friendly?
I warned them. I said, this is the non-tourist friendly version. And I already gave you a heads up. You know, you could turn it off now. Way a long time ago when I told you. You're scared. It's your own fault. You shouldn't be here. I gave you a warning. So, you know, what is this year on the sacred calendar?
12, Reed Flint House Rabbit, Reed Flint, that's Flint, 12 Flint.
The year of penance.
Mm.
Flint is penance. Penance means you're going to have to get your life together and do some reflecting. Why? Because on this 12 Flint, what is next year?
13 house.
And what did 2012 start out as?
One house. So this is like so 13 house will be the get your shit together year. So that's starting November 2024, after or during the presidential elections. And then after that, it's the get your shit together, like really get your shit together, your house together.
You have till April 8th of 2024 when there's going to be an eclipse over the Cahokia Mound, and there's going to be an eclipse at the Mapimi of the sun here in Mexico. Got till April 8th, 2024 to make change.
Wow.
And if you don't make change, in the year 13 house, there's only 13 years left of a 520,000 year cycle of a bunch of karmic caca that we have to pay for, that we should be doing now during 12 Flint penance, reflecting, changing. If we change, the transition is going to happen, but it'll be a lot smoother,
Yeah.
which is that line on the Hopi thing.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't change by April 8th of 2024, the squiggly line one comes into effect.
The zigzag that goes off into nowhere.
Nowhere.
So there's okay, so so what you're talking about is not only the regular 52-year 13-day cycle, you're talking, and it's not, and also it's not just the regular 1,144-year cycle of 13 52-year heaven cycles and 9 52-year hell cycles. This is an actual like, and it's not the 260,000-year precession of the equinox cycle. This is actually the 526,000-year cycle.
The beginning of our reality. Not the cycle, this whole reality, everything that we call reality, everything that you touch, feel, everything that we are as people.
Oh,
Accumulation
so
of
we've
500
come full circle on the Aztec calendar stone. So there's going to be a 1 movement, and then there's going to be a 13 movement, a 13 read day in the year of 4 movement when it comes all the way back to the beginning. Is that what the
It's 13 years from 13 house, where it takes you to November of 2037. At the rising of the morning star in November of 2037 begins the very first day of the first heaven cycle, which hasn't happened since 1518. 2037 is also the year 1 read. 1 read is also the time prophesied when Quetzalcoatl, Kukulkan, said he was going to return 2037. You take 2037 and then you add 13 to that, that takes you to 2051. That's where you're talking about 4 movement. 4 movement on the Aztec calendar, that means that on 4 movement in 2051, on that day, on that 12 read, I guess, or 13 read, that's on the very top,
13 read? Yeah.
at the very top that year, God himself is going to show up. That's the biggest thing about prediction. Everybody knows about the messiahs and this, and they're all excited about that. But what nobody knows about is the old man himself is going to show up 13 years later.
But he's been here before too. I mean, if you
He
look
was here at the
at
beginning of time when he created the place. 520,000 years ago. Are we ready? Do other native medicine men about, do medicine men know what I just said? No. Do Mayans know what I'm talking about? No. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? No. I learned this doing this research. I just came across it, there's a lot of things I didn't want to find out that were, I went, like one of the examples, like I found all those El Dorados and went, oh my God, I'm just trying to going across the jungle and there's an El Dorado here, an El Dorado here, an El Dorado there, It's similar to that, you find things you don't really want to know, but it's part of the research. And to come with a lot of the good things that I just showed you, there's some bad things I've learned along the way too. It's not all utopia and like all hunky-dory and new agey wingmaker nonsense stuff. It's a reality, and reality hurts when you hit the ground. Now that's real reality. So a lot of the things I've come across was excited about at first, but then you come across things that like my disinformation thing that I came across, and all of these modern things that are being used to have people comment, don't look at what I'm doing. Every
Right.
government's doing
Subscribe.
it. Can't just
Right.
blame the United States.
Right.
All governments are doing it. And it's sad because they're coordinated effort. And it's coordinated against all indigenous people, not just natives here either. Indigenous people of Asia, indigenous people of Australia, indigenous people, even indigenous people of Europe, they're doing it against. So, we got company. if we could unite, maybe we'd do something about it. You know, basically it comes down to that, you know, the Roman gladiator versus native sovereignty. You know, we're in this big coliseum and we're gonna see who wins in the end. And there's just, you know, corporate gladiator in there and we're the native warrior going in to do the battle. Here we go, 2037, we'll find out who wins. I'm getting tired of the gladiator, aren't you? I think it's time to get rid of the gladiator nonsense. I think it's even time to get rid of, you know, Rome, to be honest with you. Papal bullshit. Oh, did I say that? Told you I was not an untourist person. Well, there's one thing about my workshops and presentations I'm gonna have to be serious about everybody about. Not everything you're gonna hear is gonna be what you really want to hear, what comes out of my mouth. A lot of things that come out of my mouth, I don't even like to hear, but it's what I've learned doing the research. And I'm thinking about putting a poll outside anybody that has to do with my presentations and, you know, and giving everybody a monkey before they come to my presentations, you know, and that has a string on it. And then so they could tie their monkey on my little pole, you know, and put a sign there, you know, please leave your social programming monkey on the pole before entering. Because everything you're going to hear in there is what you don't want to hear, and everything that you believed in is not going to apply. So leave your monkey on the pole before
Well,
coming
it's
in.
because the indigenous paradigm is a completely different,
Western world this way, we're that way.
it's just a different way of viewing the whole universe.
But we come to the same conclusion,
Right.
except ours is more accurate. Why? If they're so civilized and so intelligent, why is our pi so accurate? Why can I use 260 to figure out the speed of light? Why can't I go 260 times 3 and make 780? It's the orbit of Mars.
Or even the
Why?
precession of the equinox,
Uh-huh.
or even the orbit of Earth around the center of the Milky Way galaxy.
How do I know that every 260 years an indigenous messiah returns like clockwork ever since the beginning of time? How do I know that? Do you get that out of the Christians? No. They're going to tell you that in anthropology or archaeology? No. Those guys over here, I mean, UNM has the biggest pseudoscience archaeology department in the world. They got billions of dollars just to guess. Do they have anything like I just showed you about charts, the longitudes and longitudes in these places? Do they have the alignments? Do they even have can they even accept that we understood latitudes and longitudes? No. Why? It's their colonial mindset. And that's my point. Colonial mindset is not going to work in science and research because political and religious, you know, agendas get in the way.
So can you talk a little bit about the planetary cycles, the synodic cycles of Mercury?
I'll do the first four because I could go all to the other end, but I have to get the notes up. But I'll just use the first four to show you how it's used. Back to that 13. This is how the universe is lined. And these 13s are also hooked to this global mapping that I just showed a little earlier, because you need the map of the skies, the directions to the global locations on Earth to know where you need to go. But you need to where the sky is at, like I said about the Pleiades. So we talked about the Pleiades, so we understand one constellation. Now let's go to the planets. 13 times 9, 117. So that's the same number on the steps of the temple of the Aztecs in Tenochtitlan. And it's also the hummingbird. 117 days is also the synodic orbit of Mercury. 13 also, if you take that 13 again, and then you times it by 45, gives you 585. 585 days is a synodic orbit of Venus as it goes around the sun. Then you go 13 times 28, which is the number of a medicine wheel, the spokes in the medicine wheel. 28 times 13, 364. You add 1 day, 365. Earth, you know, orbit. Then the one I just told you about, that's 260 times 3, 780. It also works with 13. That's 13 times 60. What's 13 times 60? 13 times 60 equals 780. 780 days is the synodic orbit of Mars. People need to look into Mars, and I'm glad you're looking into Mars, and I'm going to explain to you why, something you never heard
I
before.
love Mars. I just posted on Instagram some analysis that I did of the Mars landscape.
Well, 19.5 is a quarter, right? What's 19.5 times 2? 39. So that's half, right? What's 39 times 2?
68. I'm sorry,
78.
78.
What's the orbit of Mars?
Oh, 780.
See,
So it's like a different frequency than Earth.
it's a full circle.
Oh, wow.
Mars represents a full circle.
Oh.
My theory is that all the zodiacs that we see on Earth weren't mapped on Earth, that the zodiacs, you can actually see the images that they talk about, like Aquarius and the fish and all that. You only can really see them not here on the surface of this planet. You probably can see those zodiac symbols for reals on the surface of Mars. Because
Oh,
of that number, 780, full circle. Those zodiacs really are the water barrier that you can see right
right.
there. You go.
Wow.
Because of the angle of its perfection, 780.
Wow.
We're off on Earth this side. We're
Yeah,
off on
you
that
know,
side.
I just on my phone, I did the analysis on my phone, but I basically posted it looked like a dragon going into like maybe where the river would have been, and then like steps on its back going up.
Mhm.
So it looks like a temple or like a pyramid or something like that, kind of covered up by dust. But there's a dragon that's coming out at the bottom, and then it even has like an arm coming out, it seems like. But that's what I analyzed today and posted on Instagram on Mars.
I'm gonna tell you, George Haas would have a heart attack to hear this part. Maybe send him this part.
We
of the
should send him a
video.
message.
Everything that I'm doing on this mapping, it also applies to Mars. All the same numbers, all the same equations.
Oh, you had also mentioned that also applies to the different planets, that you'll be able to find places on the planet.
Anything that's globe shaped, really. Doesn't matter where in the universe.
As long as it's globe shape. If it's a funky shaped rock, it probably.
No, meteorites and that don't count.
Yeah.
It has to be the globe. Because the globe is what this is designed for.
Hmm.
And what are planets? Globes.
Yeah.
Jupiter, globe. Mercury, globe. Earth, globe. I know the globe's way over there. We can't even know what the names are. Globes. Mars, globe. The whole numbers apply to the same globe.
So you're basically saying that this could be kind of like not international information, but like intergalactic
It could
information.
apply to the moon too. You find where its equator at in the north and the south and all that, and you just apply the same template to it, and you could find all these different locations. I'll give you an example. Sandia Mountain, 35 degrees. Do, 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 do. Hey, okay. Humphreys Peak, Flagstaff, 35 degrees. Hey, 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 whoa. Spirit Mountain, Southern Nevada, 35 degrees. Oh my God, what's the 35 degrees again? Near the California coastline, Caliente Mountain, 35 degrees. Oh my God. Go across the Pacific all the way to the other side of the ocean, the other side of the globe, and all the way to Japan. And you get to Japan and you go across the land. And then what's the first mountain you see at 35 degrees? Mount Fuji. These numbers apply to everything in nature. So if I could do that for Earth, you could do the same thing for Mars. You could do things for Mars, you could do things for Pluto, Uranus. They're all nature. It's all set up with the mountain ranges are, rivers, and they're all. This is the science of nature. That's how nature was designed. That's why 3.25 is.
Well,
really
even the calendar. If you look at the calendar, you choose a number, any number, and you follow it around, just like that calendar you have there.
Mhm.
Then it's kind of like that pattern that you were showing on the global mapping system that you were showing earlier in the book. There's that pattern there of going in that spiral, or just going at an angle.
Well, I'm going to show you something that nobody's paid any attention to, and maybe they should not think about it. I'm going to show you something that, let me find a page that's nice and thick. You notice anything, let's see, similar between that and this?
Yeah, they're like diagonal lines.
They're all the same blocks.
Oh.
The blocks here are the same blocks that are made up over there.
And that's the 260-day calendar rolled up into a tube so you can see it three-dimensionally
This is the
as a
sky,
spiral.
and this is the only way I can
So
explain
you
it.
can see time as a spiral.
This is the earth. This is the sky, right?
Yes.
This is the earth. See how?
Yeah.
There's one wheel going this way and there's another wheel going that way. The globe is going this way, this is going that way, and it goes.
Oh.
See? And the blocks go with each other. But I gotta figure out where the blocks are, but that's still another research where, what's up, what's down and all that, the Pleiades and the Serpent Barrier and all of that, what I was talking about earlier. Then you lay it over and you can put all the global locations to all the cosmos in the sky.
As above, so below.
Yeah. And I'm working right now on connecting the two. If you connect the two, not only can
So
figure out,
you're saying this can be like star mapping too?
well, with this, I could find any location on the globe. With this, I could find any planet in the cosmos. Any planet, any constellation in the cosmos, even the ones we don't know. See? That's how the magic of these two things work. They're like one globe is going this way, celestial globe, and then the terrestrial globe. And they, wherever they meet, this way I'm trying to find, see what I'm talking about? They roll, 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 roll. Just got to find the patterns of how the cosmos rolls in relation to the globe. Once you do that, you know what that means? You can figure out, just to figure out every star in the sky and figure out which star to go up toward, and it'll take you to a certain location. I need to follow this location, it'll take me to Angkor Wat. I need to follow this location, it'll take me to East Island. Follow this star, it'll take me, like say to Mumbai, India, and follow this star. You get to that point where you just learn, the star system up there. And there's a lot of things I've learned about my this is weird. This one, I'm still researching on, but I just came across it by accident, and I wasn't planning to go there, but it went there anyway. Let me see. It should be on my chart.
It went there anyway.
Okay, it's let's see, what did I do with it? Okay. Which one was the other one? Here. I know I put it down on my notes. There was a certain formula that really kind of took me by surprise. I took what was the what would you call the four? Okay, maybe I'll just show it to you what I did, because I can't find it right now, but I'll just show it to you now. And it really surprised me. See, I was looking at 45.50 and I said, where does 45.50 go to? Because 45.0 goes to Teotihuacan. See, I already know
Oh.
that.
Right.
But watch this. 45.50, which is that 3.25 times 14, which equals the 45.50. See how I got it now?
Yes.
Which is that 3.25. See that 4?
Yes.
Plus 5 plus 5 plus there's a 50, so you put the other, and then you put plus 0.50. Okay, now where's my little calculator? Now watch. 4,
19.5, yeah.
I'll watch. Plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 0.50.
19.5.
That just giving that number tells me where it goes.
Wow.
It goes to Teotihuacan. 19.50 is the latitude for Teotihuacan. 19 is the latitude, 98 is the longitude. And just with that number, what I just showed you right there, adding it all up, it gave me the, the 19.50. You see, then you add that, then equals 19.50. And I'm gonna try it out with other numbers to see if it works with other numbers that come up, because it seems like it's the way of telling you where it goes to.
Oh, so it's using 3.25 times whatever number and then going, oh, and then adding those numbers. So it's a 45.50, 4 plus
Then
5.
you do that 5 again, then you add the 0.5.
0.5, 19.50. So what gate, what were you looking at 45.50 originally when you were looking at it? What were you thinking about? Or were you just trying to map it out?
Well, 45.50 is basically, let's see if I can find it here. Tillamook, Oregon, 45 degrees. And then I was realizing now it's connected to where? Teotihuacan, 19 degrees, 98. See, there's that number I did when the formula 4 plus 5, 5 plus
Right.
0.50, 9.50, 19.50, 19.50, Teotihuacan. Tillamook, 45, 45, 95. I don't know if it's a coincidence
So,
or,
so those places are basically in between there. They're basically at the same, is it called the latitude or the longitude, the one that goes up and down?
no, I can tell you
No.
exactly what 19.50 is. You know that diagonal trade zone I was telling you about?
Yeah.
This is exactly mid-center, dead center. So if you take this and you follow that, there's another way, it goes down here to where it begins. This is in the middle, see?
Okay.
So if you take that number and you add that number to this side, it'll probably take you to a southern latitude or near the equator. Then there'll be another number here, and this is the exact center right here. So that's how I figure these numbers are working. So no matter what number I work, it's going to give me the middle number when I add them all up, because they
Yeah.
give me the middle number. That
Right.
middle number, if I take that and divide that in half, it'll give me a quarter, and then it'll give me that number where the first place. So it's really getting really little
Like,
gears.
exact. To
Things
map
that
out.
modern man don't know about, modern science don't know about. I know natives don't know
It's
about.
like an exact way of mapping, basically, the latitude and longitude.
It's easier than a computer. 5 plus 5 plus 4 plus 5 plus 0.50 equals 90.50. Did I have to use that? Did I have to use that?
No.
I just used the kitty's nursery rhyme and I configured. But that I'm still trying to look into yet. Because if this is what it is, I could find every location that's a midpoint for every trade zone, no matter what number it has.
Okay, so you just gotta do some number crunching basically and check it
Mhm.
out.
See, everything that's connected globally is going to only certain.
And you're going off of this too to find them, because
Mhm.
you're looking for the cities.
See these numbers over here? There's 13 over here times 12.5, and it goes all the way down to 13 to 20 over here. See that 40 and see through that 65 right here?
Yeah.
These are all the places on the Northwest coast where all those geographic locations go to, where we ship everything worldwide.
And probably where petroglyphs are located.
Well, every petroglyphs are located at every trade zone at every one of these latitude and longitudes that I'm mentioning. That's what they're
Even
intended
here
for.
in Albuquerque.
Petroglyph National Monument, and I've been trying to tell the public for a decade now to come to talk to me about it. It's all laid out in this chart system. I could tell them what that Petroglyph National Monument is. Did you know that monument is a big giant serpent bigger than the Ohio Serpent Mound in Ohio? Look at it. It's a serpent, and that serpent has petroglyphs that tell you all the locations I'm talking about in this book. and how to get from here to San Diego to all of these locations globally from that petroglyph national monument. There's another one that's below us at Hidden Mountain at
It's like
34
a
degrees.
giant airport terminal. It's
Yeah,
like-
it's like a big truck stop. And you got these signs that tell you know, where you go to do your business, as a trucker, where you need to drop off supplies, where you need to pick up supplies, where you need to go to, it's no different than a turnoff on the interstate to me, with I see petroglyphs. Because a petroglyph is a trade location that's on this latitude, longitudes for allowing us to do trade with every tribe globally.
So this here from 40.625 all the way down to 60 degrees
65.
or 65 degrees, it's right here. It's on your mapping system right there.
That's Cape Mendocino. That'll take you to Manan Madal.
Oh.
45.50. That'll take
Oh,
you
because
to
if you
Fiji.
follow the diagonal route, it'll take you to Nan Madal.
You go to 47, that's the route to go to Hawaii and to Australia. See, all of these locations, you go to 52, that's the other one that'll take you to the Gospel Glyphs near Brisbane, Australia. I mean, all these go to locations wherever everything that went to trade went to
And
these
you can
locations,
find
and
these
then we took it to the world.
locations on this mapping system, and on this mapping system, it's a diagonal connection that's like that. That's how it's been basically mapped out.
This one right here, which people don't understand, this is how the ancients saw things. Look at this, that's why the number 39, 1.325, see, they're connected to this. This is how the ancients mapped out everything. Like say, Man Madal, it's 6.50, right?
Right.
So you find the other 6.50, Nan Madal would be right there because it's where these two meet together. 13 over here, that would be where Angkor Wat is right there.
Holy.
19.50, you go to 19.50, that's Mumbai, India, right there. If you go to 29.25 to 29.25 over here that's the Giza pyramids. And all the way up to 39, that's the Azores Islands. And I just went down one line.
Jeez.
That's the ancient way of mapping. I think it's more efficient than the modern one, to be honest with you. But I'm stuck in the modern world and they wouldn't understand this if I put this out to them. I mean, did you understand what I just showed you?
I did, but
Oh,
that's
good.
because I've been
Around me for over 20 years, but
Yeah.
somebody that's just up for 20 minutes, they go, oh my God. Like then, I don't know what kind of magic you're using here, but I got accused of that one before.
Oh, okay.
I said, there's no magic involved. It's called using your head.
Well, so if people want to get a hold of you and they want to like help you or learn from you, like what do you need help? Like what are your greatest needs right now? Do you need them to help you with checking out sites? Do you want them to help you with finding things? Do you
Right
want people
now,
to
I
help
need to
you with
finish the ebook, and I need to make a hardcover book, and then I want enough money to make a video production of global mapping.
Okay, so they
because I
can
don't know how
donate
to
to
start.
you, they can donate to you through the Patreon account at Re-indigenizing Minds, right?
Yeah, and I'll bring it up right now and see if we can find it.
Okay, so that can help you with some of your needs. And then you need to finish the book.
I don't mean to be, like standoffish or anything, but I come to the conclusion that if I seek funding from a federal grants or agencies, they're gonna shut me down. Or they're gonna say, we're cutting off your money because you're not doing what we told you to do, or you're saying what we don't want to hear. I mean, even our own tribes would do that to me, and I know it. I'm not stupid.
Well, Dan almost got kicked out of his tribe for
That's what I'm
sharing
getting at.
the knowledge he learned from you.
And the sad part about it is that these tribal councils don't even know what crap of what I'm talking about themselves. They're just a bunch of bureaucrats, They copy the US government, including the corruption. Come on, people.
Okay, so they can go to
Patreon.com/re-indigenizing minds is a great way to get this going. Right now, we got membership where I'm getting $79 a month, but we could use a lot more funding than $79 a month to do what we're doing here. To be honest with you, those guys at UNM are getting billions of dollars, and I barely got $80. And what I just showed you is done a lot more than they've done over there. The pseudoscience department called university. Look at that. Look at this. This is, they're paying thousands and $100,000 for these guys to do my decipherment and what they're saying, right?
Yeah.
Look at this. I'm over here. $5. Guess what you get for $5? You get the decipherment. There is no billions of dollars wasted on this. I'm asking $5 and you can see what's in the calendar stone. I'm asking $5. Basically, these are like donations, really. But for $5, I mean, I'm going to show you something that people are like. I'll show one that's not tourist friendly. Palenque, they're used to that, okay? $5. You can find out what's in the lid of Palenque. Look what's in the lid of Palenque. There's a flying saucer right here. There's a big technological bird with people standing on the deck here. There's a big human face here. And he's got a beard and a mustache and a crown. And there's some little person standing up in heaven standing up here. There's so much in this ancient art that people are missing out on, that they're just making up stories on. And they were saying, oh, that's the jet propulsion. Jet propulsion are bottle rockets. That's little kiddie stuff. We need electromagnetics. That's why there's a flying saucer there. Bottle rockets are for kids. Man, bottle rockets are so funny. The aliens laugh at us when we bring up, our little jet propulsion nonsense. Electromagnetics is where it's at. There's even a little figure standing on the ramp on there. $5, people, you get to see what's in ancient art. You're wasting millions of dollars on these stupid universities that aren't even telling you nothing. Now I'm only asking $5, it's a donation, really. $5 to find out what's been in things that you didn't know all along. Things that you say, look, this is the one that you like. Coliche, give me birth. See, that's what's in that image right there. Do you know that? No, you're only seeing half the picture. You need to see the full picture. She's in labor. She's in contraction. There's a baby coming out. Come on, people, get them the ball here. We're missing out on
So
this
if
whole
they
thing.
wanted to like do this low tech for her, they could basically just get a mirror, put it over the center of her.
Oh, pay me.
Yep.
Your lazy asses aren't going to do this. I
Right.
already know that. I've been doing this since 1979. How many people have listened to me so far? I'm trying to give you back your culture, but you're too busy listening to white men and Spanish chroniclers and listening to Indian experts instead of believing in ourselves. There's so much in our art. $5, people, man. And there's probably $5 million that are being wasted on some idiot down there saying that this is some kind of Maya script, this blah, 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 cosmic mumbo jumbo nonsense. When it's a visual language, man, we have a language. We just haven't realized it. Like I said, we fell for
Because even the
the
petroglyphs.
we fell for the ploy, that we don't know what any of this is. This one right here, this was the most important one. The Temple of the Foliated Cross. People, oh hey, I'm all excited because that looks nice. There's that bird of paradise and blah blah. No, what does it really show? It shows the indigenous Messiah. That look at all this stuff everybody's missing out on. And there's a person in the underworld, and that looks like an amphibian figure that's in there, let alone this man with his hands in prayer that's coming down with wings. What does all this mean? Does that mean that the Messiah is red and God is red and people might have something to worry about because they kind of fucked the wrong people, and if God's red, they might be in trouble? That if the Messiah comes back, he might be red? Has anybody ever considered that? What if God is red? And look what you've done to Native people. Look what you have to answer for. So there's so much in this. Now I'm asking only $5 for you to get your culture back. You can believe the universities and go over there and donate them another $1 million to get a bullshit story. But look, people, I mean, I can't even give away our culture. Dude, if you gave me $15,000, I'll lie to you, I could tell you everything you want to hear. It may not be the truth, but that seems like where you want to go. Give me $20,000, I'll tell you anything you want to hear. Okay, I'll do it. 25,000, I'll even give you a juicier story, and 30,000, I'll give you the story that comes from the Village Liar and on the res, the real juicy one, It just seems like where people want to go. The more they want to hear the lie, the more they'll pay for it. I'm asking $5 to find out what's in this ancient art. You goodness. I'm not like those greedy colleges. Please send me $5 billion to my university so I could kind of guess what this might be. Because that's what you're doing. And they're wasting your precious tax dollars, giving you nothing. And for $5, I'm giving you everything. Oh, geez. I thought we were intelligent.
So what have you put on the Re-indigenizing Minds platform so far on the Patreon website? What can people, what are some of the things that people can access?
We'll scroll down it because I kind of been adding a few things on it. Let's see. Making arrangements to do our first Re-indigenizing Minds show. I've made an announcement that we're going to be working on doing an interview with Louis Cerna.
Oh, okay.
So remember I was talking about that.
Yes.
So that's been announced. Christmas in the Clouds. That was before Christmas, so people are just, on a holiday. Indian show. Come see ancient art combined with modern music. That's Longbow's Decipherments, which you just saw a little while ago, which is goes there. Indigenous Christmas songs. Those were all Christmas carols, but all in native language. None of them in Spanglish. Excerpts from the global mapping book, which I'm releasing real soon here, which should be in the next few days. I'm gonna finally get it copywritten because I just finished. I finished the last scanning today.
Yay.
There you are. Tired of paying universities billions of dollars for nothing? That was my little rant just a little while ago. That's what I was talking about. $5 assignments for ancient indigenous art. We got tired of the Western world universities and colleges ripping you the public off for billions and giving you a good guesstimate at best. So, that's my rant there. We're activating our YouTube channel, which I just, gave you a little tour of what we have on the YouTube channel, which I'm putting together right now and pretty much done with it too. Ancient gift assignments this is what is in the shop where you just saw. Do you want the 206-day sacred calendar with modern correlation chart, which I got on there too? Identifying ancient pottery, which is really important because it's telling people that a lot of these were carried around their necks and all of that, but a lot of them were used to carry the ashes and bones of deceased relatives. So that's why you shouldn't be picking up pottery shards, because they might have been containing human remains that were part of the ritual when they were interred, I guess, into the earth. They break the pottery and then the ashes go and the pottery goes back to the earth. That's why it's not a good idea to be collecting potteries. I collect rocks.
Because you're collecting the remains of people, dust.
Yeah, you might as well be collecting coffins, My good review, a little short, another book review. There's our mission statement. I mean, Mr. Carl.
That's that video with Carl.
And then my cousin talking about Quinault canoes and Northwest Coast navigating. Nobody's took the $40 membership yet, so. Montana Megaliths, I put that in there because they're having a problem right now with the Australian mining company dynamiting and blowing up all of those ancient artifacts as we speak right now. It's being destroyed. I know. Oh God, people don't even know what they're destroying anymore. Ancient Gallery Music Download, that was me and my music. Re-indigenizing Minds shop is now open. That's when I just opened up that shop that I just showed you. There's the codex, you and the codex. And people like that just because you were in that presentation and they like that calendar. So man, it's all ratty and tore up. I don't care. I want it. Oh, okay. Introduction to calendar. There's Longbow's one of his decipherments, Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, with the interview we did. And hey, we got a lot on our page. I didn't realize.
Oh, I think I might have posted something a while.
Oh, this is yours.
ago.
Handwritten July correlation. I think we're getting to the bottom. There's the day serial counter correlation, Facebook group, and just in case you're Japanese.
Oh, wow. Okay, and there's that video, the interview with you as well.
My great grandfather.
Nice. Oh, Mars. Is that Mars?
No.
Oh, no, that looked like a picture of Mars I posted, but it's not.
Watch this. This is gonna be interesting. This is what people need to see.
Hey, everybody, I decided to make one more
Nazca.
Nazca line video here.
These are the Nazca lines.
Now, I think
Now
I pretty
watch.
much figured out that the key to the Nazca lines is plotting them out over the whole Earth.
Peru, 13
I took a
degrees
couple of the major
south.
lines and they
Angkor
intersected.
Wat,
at
13
Angkor
degrees
Wat, and I
north,
thought that was the key.
3.25
So
times
what I did is
4
I took
equals 13.00.
most of the major lines and I plotted them
Now
all
watch.
around the Earth.
Nazca,
See what that would
Angkor
look like.
Wat. Keep that in mind.
Well,
This is Nazca. Now watch.
this is what it started out as I first started plotting them and I wanted to make sure I got all the angles right. And it looks like a jumbled mess. And now let me show you what it looks like on a planetary view. These are the Nazca lines spread out over the whole Earth. Zoom out a little here. And if you plot the Nazca lines around the whole Earth, this is what it looks like. They all converge in Angkor Wat.
Oh, my favorite place that I've never been.
Mm-hmm.
And they all converge at Nazca.
13 degrees south,
So,
13 degrees north.
I think straight lines are
3.25 times 4.
made for a reason, they're meant to be
13.00
followed.
north and south.
So, this is the Nazca lines, if they continued over the whole Earth, what they would look like.
And that's how this mapping works globally.
Now, I think that is pretty damn cool.
Have you reached out
Hope
to
you
him?
did too.
Huh?
Have you reached out to him?
Have a
That
nice
would be
night.
cool. At some point.
I did, and I asked him to work with me, and then he died.
Oh, no.
He dropped dead on me.
Oh, man.
I was all upset that he was ignoring me, and I said, well, all I did was, I hope I didn't give him a heart attack.
Oh, my goodness.
Because I sent him all the information. I said, this is all information. Maybe with what you already got, we could work together and we could create a global map with numbers attached to what you have, what I found on my charts. And then the next thing I knew, they put out a YouTube thing that said, yeah, dropped dead. And I went, well, I guess I'm not going to work with him.
Oh, man.
Because I did consider that, because he was the only guy that put it together, and then he died.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But this is how heavy this is. I'm going, I found the guy that knows what I'm doing. And then he drops dead on me. I'm going,
Oh, my goodness.
I need you. You know,
Okay,
yeah.
folks, I think that's enough for now.
Scare enough tourists?
I'm sorry about the wobbly camera. I'm just holding a little camera thing.
And I'm apologizing for scaring tourists and American Indians, because I'm a real native and I'm indigenous and I scare both tourists and American Indians. So I apologize. But it's something you need to know. It's something that's really important, and it's something that really needs to be brought back. Because to be serious with me, my last message, now I'm gonna quit ranting, but this is the most important one.
I don't think you'll ever quit ranting, Raj.
I'll rant when this camera's off, but I'll be talking about something else. It's most important because all what I'm showing you was almost lost to the Inquisition and due to the white man coming here. Can we take a chance to lose it a second time? We have a second chance to retrieve it. Are we gonna blow it? Or are we gonna take up the opportunity and the chance to get our culture back if we're serious about it?
So we are working on the Re-indigenizing Minds project. It is winter break in December of 2023. It's 28th of December. So I think today is one herb.
Hey, no, no, no.
No, is that today? I don't know. I have
No,
to-
no, you might be right, because yesterday was a rabbit day, I think. if I remember right,
okay.
so
So on Indian
I think
time
that's
in
on
the
the
year of
calendar,
12
isn't it?
read.
I mean,
So you can find Roger Culty on Facebook. He just gave you a tour of the Re-indigenizing Minds website space.
or my Yahoo, R.A. Culty, CULTEE at yahoo.com. If you're serious about anything, I mean.
And there's some stuff I want to post on Cydonia Institute. Roger has put up some stuff there too under, is it under your name?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
R.A. Culty.
Okay, so
a lot
Cydonia
of
Institute
decipherment
has a
there.
login. You can go there and that's all about Mars. So I need to put some of my stuff on
She
Mars.
did one
up
on
there.
Mars, and I have one that's on in ancient indigenous decipherments, which goes more in depth on the decipherments that I showed you with longbow and all the ancient art decipherments. I mean, if you really want to know about what's in ancient art, I'd suggest you go to the Cydonia thread.
Right.
It gives you real good examples and a good knowledge of how they operate and how they work, and even what they're about.
There you go. And I've done a lot of stuff on Mars. I just need to post them. I just haven't had time. So I'll try to get to that because it's winter break. All right. We'll chat later.